never say that the presence of somebody like Ramana Maharshi does not contribute to the welfare of the country, including the political welfare of the country. Even if he does not directly jump into the freedom struggle, he has his own ways. In fact, he used to say, how do you know that I'm not bringing about a great social change by just sitting here? It's a question of means. There are those who roam about the entire country. There are those who bring about a revolution by using bombs and grenades and guns and pistols. And then there is the way of Ramana Maharshi. He too is bringing about a revolution in his own way of silence. That was his way, the way of silence. But do not think that his way was any less effective. It was actually more effective. It always has been more effective. Revolutions that start from inside, revolutions that affect the very core of man, are always more successful than revolutions that seem to change merely the political order. After all, if the political order changes, then you just change your master, your political master. Your slavery remains the same. And how does it help you if you just switch from one master to the other, if you are to continue as a slave? The white Sahib went away, we rejoiced, and his place was taken by the brown Sahib. What kind of freedom is this if we are not gaining internal freedom? It saddens me to say that Indians are still one of the psychologically most subjugated and most subdued people in the world. The imprint of years of slavery is still too thick on us. Politically and externally, we might have gained freedom, but internally we are far from free. That doesn't mean that the rest of the world is very free. The rest of the world too lives in inner subjugations. But we Indians seem to be a step ahead of them as far as choosing slavery is concerned. That is the concern of a saint. The saint says, of what use is political freedom if internally you still choose to be a slave of somebody? Worse still, of what use is external freedom if internally you are a slave to yourself? The worst slavery is when you are your own slave, when you are a slave to your own ego, when you are a slave to your own vrittis, carnal tendencies, hormonal upsurges, social conditioning, physical compulsiveness. When you are a slave to all these, of what use is external freedom? Of course, it is of some use, but very limited use. Much more important is inner freedom. So when you have somebody like Ramana Maharshi, kindly do not try to draw a distinction. Do not say, oh, Ramana Maharshi did not do anything for the country's freedom. There were others who were doing a lot. Not true. It is impossible that you have somebody like Ramana Maharshi and he does not bring you to the truest of freedoms. At the same time, great respect is deserved by those who fought for freedom from the yoke of alien masters, for an occupation. Because an external climate of political freedom enables inner freedom as well. So these two go hand in hand. It's just that even though these two go hand in hand, among these two, among inner freedom and outer freedom, the more important one is inner freedom. Both are important. Inner freedom and outer freedom, both are two sides of the same coin. But if one has to choose between the two, the more important one is inner freedom. Why is inner freedom more important? The reason is very obvious. Please understand. The world is a great system that you really cannot affect or control or determine. You do not know what would happen next. As we sit here, an earthquake may strike us right now. We have no control over that. And there is very little predictability in life. So external situations and circumstances and events cannot even be predicted, let alone controlled. However, there is one thing that you can always be a master of. What? Your inner self. Therefore, those who have known the external world and the inner world have said both freedoms are important, external freedom and inner freedom. But external freedom would always remain a thing of chance, a little dicey. Inner freedom is guaranteed. You are your own master. Outside, things can change by way of accident or coincidence. Inside, no accident is possible without your permission. Inside, you are the only one. Inside, you are the ruler. Therefore, if you have to choose between these two, inner freedom and outer freedom, choose inner freedom. And if possible, have both, inner and outer. Both are important. Among these two, more important one is the inner one. Right? So, Ramana Maharshi is every bit as much of a freedom fighter as the greatest name we can take in the glorious list of freedom fighters we have had. Right? But in his own way, in his way of silence, in his way of inwardness.